Yeah, no shades, but a lot of news, guys. Good morning. Incumbent Karen Bass was able to clinch one of the two spots in the November runoff for LA mayor. Her opponent has yet to be determined, guys. Republican Spencer Pratt and progressive Nithya Raman are battling for second place. Bass is moving forward despite criticism regarding her handling of wildfires and homelessness. She's defending her record as Pratt warns Bass to be ready.
Over these last 3.5 years, we have laid a foundation, and we're going to build on that foundation because we know what a city we have and what a city we can be. We're not going to let somebody turn back our clock. We are not going to do that.
This is the first time since 2005 an incumbent is going to a runoff. This is not a candidate that I'm too concerned about. I was going to be happy if I wasn't moving forward because I would have known that God didn't want me to be the mayor. But now I feel very confident that I am going to continue to work hard.
The California gubernatorial race, meanwhile, remains too close to call, but Democrats Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer and Republican Steve Hilton appear to be leading the pack. The top two vote-getters will move on to the general election, regardless of party.
There are powerful forces aligned to darken our light. The last thing these forces want is a working-class governor with a law degree and a union card ready to call them out. I am ready to lead the fight to uphold California's promise.
We have an option for change in California because everyone can see we're going in the wrong direction. We can offer Californians a new direction in November. 56% of Californians think the state's going in the wrong direction. And so now it looks as if we really can say, in the words that are behind me, change is coming to California.
In Iowa, Democrat Josh Turek and Republican Ashley Hinson will face each other in the race to replace retiring Senator Joni Ernst. Hinson was backed by President Trump. And in New Jersey's 12th congressional district, Adam Homowy won the Democratic primary. Homowy is a former Army medic who's running on a progressive platform that includes calls to abolish ICE and an arms embargo on Israel. He's endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders, and he'll be facing Republican Greg Maley.
We've done it. We did it. We gone done it. We gone done did it. We flipped California red. I don't know. They're going to cheat it. They're going to cheat it. I'm not sure. I'm excited about it. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. No. Let's do the cheer one more time for all of our based patriots in California. Let's go. One more time. Well done, California is a red state with little blue cities that are governed entirely by fraud committed by vampires, goblins, goons, and zombies that wander the streets. They have destroyed two of the most iconic cities in America, San Francisco and Los Angeles. And we are trying to save California from these evil creatures. We'll see what happens. A lot of news today, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Republicans have surged in the California elections. 60 Minutes is firing hosts left and right. Alex Marlow and Billy Bush, yes, that Billy Bush of the Bush family, and of some Donald Trump video fame, joins the program. They're both from LA, by the way. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Make sure that you are locked in for your American future. American Financing can make sure that you have a way out of high-interest credit card debt, usury rates, terrible, immoral. We're heading into the summer. There are economic clouds that certainly are gathering. I don't like them. You don't like them. We're fighting against them. Make sure that the summer surge, which is expenses that can rack up, does not affect you and does not add to any type of credit card debt. You can get your credit card debt under control with American Financing today. No upfront fees, no pressure. And if you start today, you can delay 2 mortgage payments. Call American Financing right now at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. Okay, I want to play you something that makes me really happy. It's like one of the funniest clips you'll see all day. Spencer Pratt, ladies and gentlemen, we were hanging out with Spencer Pratt and his wife Heidi. Obviously, they're Los Angeles royalty. I guess I shouldn't have been smiling like such a goofball because we were standing on the ashes of their home, but they've rolled with it and turned it into something positive. We're rolling with it. And we are ready to fight. And we fought with Spencer Pratt in the early days. And I said yesterday, LA is a dark place, man, and it needs a miracle. It's the city of angels. It's gone to hell. Spencer is fighting for his family, his neighbors, and those who want to raise their children in a clean, safe town. It's not Democrat versus Republican. It's good versus evil. It's darkness versus light. And we must be the light. And the light must win. And I got to tell you, man, there was a lot of winning yesterday. We're going to go through the vote numbers and the vote totals, but let's just begin by saying we've never seen a Republican surge, not in your lifetime or mine, quite like this. We've never seen a breaking of the machine quite like this in California. Republicans are currently in the lead in vote totals, and I'll show this to you, but it comes with a caveat that California is, of course, ready to rig and cheat in every single election. And it enrages me, and we're going to get into it, and we're going to bring you all of Spencer Pratt's I'm going to put air quotes, victory night speech, because again, there are still hundreds of thousands of ballots to be counted in Los Angeles. There's still millions of ballots to be counted statewide because California, just like they run everything, runs their elections like the third world. And that third world is seeking to cheat and to steal, to stay in power, as it always does. Trust me when I say this. When you have a state that is currently building the fastest and most sophisticated AIs, the most sophisticated cars and chips, that is leading the way in space exploration, cancer research, medical research, and so on, as so many of the technical pockets of California are. When you are able to solve the single most complicated mathematical equations and scientific problems in mere seconds and diagnose complicated medical conditions in mere seconds with AI, when we are living in an era of unparalleled technological sophistication, and yet California, it keeps smashing themselves in the nuts with a rock, trying to count their votes. Ooga booga, ooga booga. What is the red ball? What is the fiery ball that rises in the sky? Right? Like they're legitimate cavemen trying to count votes, banging rocks together. It's all a lie. They're cheating. They're telling us it's going to take weeks to cheat. It's not going to take weeks to count the votes. They already have the votes in. Do you know that they've been voting in California for like 90 days? That's when early ballots, ballot collection can start. You can start mailing in your ballot. Everybody in California gets mail-in ballot. Do you realize how broken that system is? Even libs are coming out against that system and saying this is trash. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we're so stupid. This is my Karen Bass impression. We can count the ballot. What? We are. I'm enraged by it. We shouldn't tolerate. It's intolerable. How about this? I'm going to show you the total number of ballots in LA. I'll show you this really funny clip to like set. I want to like bring the mood back up, but I want to show you this really funny clip. And I'm going to show you the number of ballots that are outstanding. It's like 100,000 ballots. And they're telling us it's going to take weeks to count those 100,000 ballots. I looked up this morning how many ballots get counted in the state of Florida last election. It was 9.5 million. They were counted by 7 p.m. We had a result in Florida by 7 p.m. All ballots, 99.9% of ballots were in, counted, and tabulated by 9 p.m. on election night. But they're telling you that it's going to take weeks to count 100,000 ballots. They could just take the homeless people off the streets in LA and give each homeless person one ballot to count. You know, there's 100,000 homeless people currently defecating, urinating on themselves, shooting up super meth in the streets. You could just hand each one of them a ballot and say, count one. That's it. Here, here's your crack pipe for payment. But no. We got to find secret mystery boxes that have been hidden under the desks. We got to have water pipes burst. We're going to have a late dump of ballots. Oh, they all came in late. Oh, everybody just mailed their ballot the day, right at the day after weeks after the election. That's when they all mailed their ballot. It just sucks. It's just the way that it is. No, it shouldn't be the way that it is. We should sue. You should sue right now. I'll bring on Harmeet Dillon, ladies and gentlemen. I should have demanded that she get booked for this show. We'll see. I don't know if she's doing media right now. But I am sick of the way that I'm sick of our country running like the third world. They want to import the third world. They want to import third world expectations into this nation. We should expect the greatest things from this nation. Banish all media and all people from your lives that tell your kids that they should apologize for being an American. Americans are exceptional. We've always been exceptional. From the pilgrims that got off the boat on the Mayflower and got on their knees and thanked God for safe voyage and passage, barely any of them survived the first winter. Those were exceptional people. Through Neil Armstrong, through today to Elon Musk. We are a nation of exceptionality, and they are trying to pull us down. They're trying to pull us back into the Stone Ages, where it does take weeks to count ballots. Ooga booga, ooga booga. That's what they're trying to do. And why are they doing that? And I think it begs one really quick explanation here. The reason why they're trying to do this and they're trying to third worldize Western nations is because Western nations are founded on Christian principles. They are founded on Christian excellence. They're founded on societal excellence. And that is uplifting to the human spirit. It's hard to control. It's hard to predict. It's hard to put restraints on it, as communists are always trying to do, to restrain God's creation. And that's why they bring in people exclusively from non-Christian countries in order to subvert and in order to undermine and to knock the legs out of the excellence of our nations. Because those countries do not share in the heritage of space exploration and flight and the internet and high expectations for their public servants. That's why they bring in migrants from places that have no Christianity. Christianity is an exceptionalist religion. It is an enlightened religion. It seeks to advance and to make better everywhere that it touches. Islam is the exact opposite. There's not a single country that gets better after being conquered by Islam. Go check out the modern day story of Egypt. Egypt used to be a Christian nation, actually, and so many other Christian places. There isn't. There are ideologies that drag people down into the Stone Age, and then there's ideologies that uplift people with enlightened thought and concepts of justice, blind justice, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of association. The original American colonies, the original American states, the vast majority of them required you to be a Bible-believing, professing Jesus Christ Christian to serve in public office. Why? Because they needed continuity of thought for their leaders. 56 founders were Bible-believing Christians. They appealed to God. The Declaration of Independence, it's a political document written to a king. No, it's not. It's prayer. No, it's not. We've been totally lied to. It's a prayer. Go read it. Have you read it? Go read it. It says, we appeal to the almighty judge of the universe. Well, who's that? They're all Christians, so who are they talking about? Revelation says that that's Jesus Christ. The Declaration of Independence is a prayer. They wrote down a prayer and sent it to the king. It says, this is what we're praying. That's why it mentions God 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. That's why it talks about your creator. No, we're a Christian nation. And actually, the horrors that we see on our street in LA, the horror, the demonic evil that you feel when you travel to LA, and we travel to LA pretty often, actually, we have to. I think we'll be in California later this month, and we look forward to that. We're going to do some work out there. But the horrors you feel in LA, the darkness, is actually the incongruency and incompatibility of a secularist, narcissistic, atheistic worldview that is incompatible with the Christian nation and a Christian government and Christian ethos that built Los Angeles and built our nation. That's what's happening. That's the misalignment. That's why it's so disgusting in LA. That's why it's so hard to travel down the street and see the filth, the disorder. Cleanliness is close to godliness, ladies and gentlemen. This is a cleansing moment on MSNBC. Sorry for the rant there. When an MSNBC reporter heard just that, exactly that. MSNBC reporter had the unenviable task of doing a live shot from the Spencer Pratt victory party last night and got a dose, a red pill, a red enema live on air. Here we go.
It's a much more lively vibe and in very LA fashion. There's now a chopper flying overhead. He's having his party at a Mexican restaurant that he has loved for years. And there's some Spencer Pratt supporters here who seem in a very good mood.
Yeah.
You guys have
Instagram Patriot Wildman.
You guys have probably seen the latest batch of polling that just came out. Shows him doing pretty well in second place, just 10 points behind Karen Bass. How are you feeling about that? Do you feel really confident that he's going to make it to the runoff?
Definitely, he's going to make it to the runoff. There's a lot of people who already voted for him. Their votes haven't been counted yet. They voted day of the election, old school style. So I think his numbers are going to get better.
What is it about Spencer Pratt that you just is resonating with you?
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA where it's turned to crap. It's not an accident. They're doing it by design. Karen Bass wants to destroy our cities, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer Pratt.
I can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left, leaning people. So let's just say it this way: he doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life.
Yeah.
He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
Outside. Oh,
We
you
have-
didn't
no.
like that.
We have-
She ran away.
We have
He doesn't
talked-
want homeless
Okay,
people outside of
we
the elementary
appreciate
schools
you.
having sex with their
We
own
appreciate
hands
you.
in front of the
We
children.
appreciate you. We've talked a lot
don't
about the
appreciate
homelessness.
you.
Thank you.
I don't appreciate
All right.
you.
I'm gonna,
listen,
I don't
Liz.
appreciate
I'm
you,
gonna
ma'am.
toss it back.
I got it. Thank you for navigating that so well.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Klein, I thought you'd be better with the cheer. Go. Job. Way to go. Massive cheer. I know this guy. Hey, Elect, we know this dude. We've had this dude on the show. This is the dude who does the impressions of Trump. This is the guy that does the Trump impressions. Robert, isn't it? Isn't that this Jason Scoop? Yeah, okay. We know this guy. We should invite him on the show. Get Jason Scoop on. Hey, Kara, can you reach out to Jason Scoop? See if he can jump on the program. This is my favorite clip of all last night. All right, here we go. Spencer Pratt advances in LA mayor runoff. Well, this is a little early to call, sadly. And as much as I want to give you all as many possible white pills as we can, this one I have to put a bit of a damper on it and say that Democrats could still try and rig this thing, and they're doing it right now. So this is what we have to stay vigilant. They want us to be euphoric and to act like we've won the thing, and then they're sneak in and steal it in the dark of night. So we have to stay vigilant and watch every single vote. And you can already see that they're stealing and they're cheating. You can already see it. I'll show you the evidence. So they're saying that Spencer Pratt has advanced. Here we go. Spencer Pratt advanced to the runoff mayoral election in LA. Karen Bass got barely a third of the vote. That's true. Pratt is currently at 30% at second place. That's true. Now they're saying he advanced, but did he? Let's go ahead and look at the raw numbers, and let's just refresh here just in case they've added anything. Since the last refresh, they did just a little bit. Okay, here we go. So there's 63% of the votes in. They've been voting for months. It's been 17 hours since the polls closed, and they've only counted 63% of the vote. There's a 40% of the votes. There's still 300,000 votes remaining. Spencer Pratt is at 151. That's 30%. Karen Bass in a humiliating first place. And what I mean by that is there's less than 20,000 votes that separate Spencer Pratt from Karen Bass. Look at that. Humiliating. She's at 34%. Spencer Pratt's at 30%. Both of them above 30%. That means both of them should automatically advance to the runoff. Oh, sweet. Steve Hilton can call in. That's awesome. Can Steve Hilton call in? That'd be amazing. All right. Well, let me know. Get his phone card ready. He can call in. Get his phone card ready. Klein, Jamie, thank you. Awesome, guys. And whenever Steve is on, because Steve Hilton winning in the absolute total overall vote totals yesterday, here's Steve Hilton's results. 1.4 million votes for Steve Hilton. Xavier Becerra, who isn't real. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows what he does. He got 1.2 million votes. No way. There's no way that happened. I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to go out and say, let's just go prove that this is a lie. I'm going to go to Democrat areas of California and ask people what a Javier Baccaria is. What's a Javier Baccaria? It's going to be an amazing Benny on the Block. Tom Steyer has spent $1 billion. He's now spent a total of $1 billion on his political career. He can't even crack 20%. Now, here's the problem. They're still counting. This would be a great result, and we'd be cheering from the rooftop. We'd be punching the white pill stinger until our fingers bled if this was the end result. But it's not the end result. They still have hundreds of thousands of votes to count, which enrages me and makes me very, very sad. And so I am cautiously optimistic. The LA Times, of course, doing their job, predictive programming. Hollywood's great at that. LA vote count in California, governor and mayoral race, could be painfully slow. Don't expect instant gratification. Ooga booga. What is the ball that rises in the sky? How do we hunt for fish? What is fire? Caveman California. They learned what fire was when they burned ballots yesterday, which they did. Vandalizing the drop boxes, because that's just how it works in California. So you look at this. There's a bunch of needles and meth on the sidewalk. There's filth and in the gutter. These disgusting LA sidewalks, sickening LA sidewalks, filthiest city in America. And you just go put your vote in a box right there. You just go put it in the box next to the meth needles and the human defecation. It's crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Guys, let me know about Steve Hilton. I know that we have a packed show today. We have an incredible show. Billy Bush, Alex Marlowe, Steve Hilton, maybe Jason Scoop. But if Steve Hilton is going to break from his insane schedule and jump in, then I want to go right to him, okay? Nate Silver is a libtard. Nate Silver is king of the libtards. Nate Silver is this derpy pollster who used to run Vox and now I think works at ABC. Anyway, he is a Democrat operative. And even he is crashing out on the way that Los Angeles and California do elections. The fact that California elections can't be resolved for weeks is insane, and it's not common in other election systems around the world. Honestly, it's going to take us several weeks to tell you who won the election is failed state shit, sorry. I'm just going to read accurately what he says. We're all adults here, and should be much more stigmatized. I try not to swear. I really do. I get emails every time I curse. I'm not cursing. I'm just reading the guy's post. My apologies. We do our best to have a family-friendly show here. But again, adults are talking about adult things, and it's true. It is third world. This is third world. Failed state stuff. The fact that it's tolerated is bad. It's a textbook example of learned helplessness. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody was helpless. Last night, Spencer Pratt giving an incredible interview at his election night party. Steve Kornacki here on MSNBC or NBC News saying, "Don't you worry, we might see a flood of Democrat ballots." If Hollywood's good at anything, it's predictive programming. We're going to tell you what's about to happen. Here's the quote. Here we go.
Going to have to be, or it's just going to have to be such a flood of Democratic ballots coming in after, being tabulated after election night or into the wee hours this morning that would just lift both Democrats over Hilton. That's increasingly what it needs to be for Steyer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's NBC News saying you'd have to have a miraculous flood of Democrat ballots to lift up these two losers over Steve Hilton. Well, joining us now, right now, live, is the great Steve Hilton. He joins us by phone. He is the absolute total vote getter, vote winner in absolute terms last night. He is leading the pack. He's at nearly 30% of the vote. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who is turning California red. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. The great Steve Hilton live right now. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. Do I gotcha?
Hey, Benny. Yeah, great to be with you. Not a bad night, don't you think?
Oh, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I was just about to play your commentary on the evening. I'm like, wait a second, we can get him live? Let's go to that. Okay, so talk. So I'm not sure if you just heard the program. Steve Kornacki is telling the left-wing audiences that the Democrats would need a miracle to try and overtake you. But we just went through the ballot numbers, and there's still millions of ballots, 3.8 million ballots that they have yet to count in the race. And so that makes us a little nervous, Steve. How are you feeling?
No, we're feeling good about it, Benny, and we were from pretty early on in the night. We don't think that they can catch up. Look, I may not end up in the number one slot, but really the most important thing is that we are in that general election so we can defeat this Democrat political machine and avoid the absolute doomsday scenario, which a lot of people were talking about, of two Democrats in the top two in California. Look, I hope that we come out on top. I'm incredibly encouraged by the results that we've seen so far, nearly 60% already counted. So it's really looking good. And remember, there's a whole other large number of votes out there that went to Chad Bianco that were Republican votes. So California is voting for change. I mean, the message that I put on the backdrop of our event last night, and I thought very carefully about it when really planning all that about a week or so ago, is change is coming. And I just feel it. I feel that in California, we are done with the insanity, the crime, the chaos, the homelessness, the gender extremism, the cost of everything through the roof, the taxes, the bloat. And you can feel the energy. You see it in LA with Spencer. You see it with the fact that I'm leading this race so far. I think we're going to have a real political revolution in California this year. And it really starts. It started last night. I'm literally in the car heading to the airport, heading to Sacramento this morning. I'll be there late during the rest of today. But the real point is we're going to be heading to Sacramento at the start of next year to defeat this Democrat machine and start turning California around.
Steve, we have the vote totals up on screen here for the entire slate of candidates. And it is quite remarkable, actually. If you added Chad Bianco's vote total to you'd be ahead by a country mile. You'd have over 2 million votes if you added all of the Republican votes from last night. You'd have an absolute total of 2 million votes. You'd be winning, walking away with it.
Yeah. But look, the thing is, Benny, I just want to say one thing that I know you'll understand. The fact that I've got already nearly 1.5 million people who put their faith in me to turn things around in California as a new American citizen, as someone who loves this country so much, who's never run for office before. And you've got 1.5 million people, and the number's going to go up, thinking, yeah, you can do this. You can help turn the state around. It's an unbelievable honor, but also a huge responsibility. I really feel that. Everyone asked me last night, how are you feeling? And truly, for most of the night, I just felt this enormous sense of relief because I feel such a pressure not to let people down. I'm on the road the whole time. You know, we've been talking about that on and off ever since the start of the campaign. You were right there with me at the beginning. And the intensity of these conversations I have with people at our events and when I meet people up and down the state The most common thing that they say to me is, "You have to win," and that's how they put it. You have to win. There's a sense that we can't go on in this way, and to me that's a heavy responsibility to make sure we fight a good campaign and one that wins. And the first step of that was getting through to the general election. And so last night, when it really looked for the first time as if we really had made it, I just felt this tremendous sense of relief that I hadn't let everybody down. And I feel like the next few months are going to be incredibly important. But it looks like we're going to be up against Javier Becerra, who's the living embodiment of more of the same corrupt, failed, useless Democrat machine.
Steve, I'm going to I talked about it at the beginning of the show. So I'm heading out to California this month. I really hope that we can connect. And here's what I want to do. I'm going to wander the streets in the most Democrat districts in the state. I'm going to go to Nancy Pelosi's district, right there in San Francisco in the Tenderloin. And I'm going to ask people what a Javier Baccaria is. I'm going to ask people. I'm going to go ask Democrats, what is a Javier Becerra? I believe that no one will even be able to know what his name is. I think that his name ID and that this is so fake. I've never seen anything more AstroTurf, Steve. This guy isn't real. This is pure machine voting.
Yes.
And no Democrat will be able to tell me what a Javier Baccaria is. I will use his real name. I'll be polite enough to use his actual preferred pronouns, and I'll say, what is Javier Becerra? Tell me one thing about Javier Becerra, and no one will tell me anything. That's what I believe.
I think you're completely right. And you know, the fakeness and the machine aspect of it really struck me actually quite far into the night, and a little bit this morning. I've been doing some of the morning TV shows here in California, and they've been playing clips of his speech last night. And it was so interesting watching him reading from a teleprompter, very weird kind of political language in that way that seems so fake these days. In the era of Donald Trump and Spencer Pratt, and I would put myself in the same category in the sense of not having a script. I've never sort of read off a prompter. We just sort of speak to people and just use normal language and tell the truth. And yet you have this guy who was reading out some script that was written for him. It all seemed so fake and phony, and just captured for me exactly why I think we can beat him, because this machine that has been running California and running California into the ground now has its puppets. He's the perfect candidate for them. He'll do exactly what they tell him, the unions, the activists, all the people who've run this corrupt machine. But I don't think it's going to work because it just feels so fake and ridiculous.
Steve, I have on screen here the state as it stands right now, and it looks like you won dozens of counties. The state looks like it's been painted red, with the exception of very small pockets on the coast. It's an incredible image. What does this say about the state of California? Is the state of California ready to flip red?
Yeah, I mean, that's why those words, change is coming, which what my wonderful supporters last night were chanting, just feels real. And actually, in some of the counties that you wouldn't expect, I mean, I don't know exactly where we are on, for example, Napa County. Last night, we were winning Napa County, which is considered to be a Democrat enclave. And I think that people are ready. And the argument that I've been making is very similar to the kind of positive, practical focus on working people, small businesses that we first saw with President Trump all the way back in 2015, which is one of the reasons that I supported him so early, because he was speaking to something that the elites have missed, which is regular working people who are the backbone of this country, and here in California too, have just been so badly let down by establishment policies. And you've got that changing across the country, but not in California, because it's been the same elite establishment machine and the elitists who push their insane and extreme climate agenda, for example, even though it means that regular working Californians are paying, $2 more for gas than anyone in the rest of the country, to make them feel good as if they're saving the planet. But they're not saved. They're not doing anything except punishing working people. It doesn't even help with their own environmental agenda, because as a result of their climate extremism, we're importing most of our oil and gas, spewing out carbon emissions from the tankers that are shipping it from Iraq and South Korea and India. It's insane. And I think pointing out the absurdity of these policies that the machine has been pushing for so long is going to be a big reason why we beat them.
I have the Napa County totals zoomed in here, Steve. You are right now with 50% in winning Napa County. This is where Nancy Pelosi has a mansion. You're winning Sacramento, Steve, right now with 50% in. Obviously, these things can change, but what a result, Steve. That's incredible. You've won Napa and Sacramento. And
Benny, I'm so sorry. I lost your sound. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm afraid I couldn't hear you back then.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Can you hear me now, Steve? Again, Steve is traveling.
I can't hear anything. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Steve, we're going to, that's a shame. Let's go ahead and pop Steve. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Steve back. Can you hear me at all, Steve? Nope. I understand. Perhaps we can, guys, we can connect. Let's connect with Steve one more time offline. We have a stacked show. We're going to refresh. Let's just see really quickly if we can get Steve back on, because I don't want to lose him. Again, these are incredible results. And then we're going to jump over to talk to Billy Bush about the LA mayoral race that has changed the world, frankly, yesterday. And will it hold? That's what is most important. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make sure, I just want to make sure that, let's see if Steve is back. Steve, are we back right now? Let's go ahead and pop it on. I just want to say, again, thank you to Steve and his team for joining the show and hopping on. Hey, Steve, do I gotcha?
Yeah, I'm back now. I don't know what happened there, but I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
We could hear the sirens in the background, so it's just California stuff, man.
They're coming to get me. They don't like the idea of a Republican governor.
All right, Steve, real fast here. Look at this on screen right now. You're winning Sacramento County. You're winning Napa. You're winning Napa County right now with 50% of the vote in. You're winning Napa. You're winning Sacramento. Incredible. I mean, is this a sign of things to come that Steve Hilton wins Sacramento?
Well, that's the big idea, that we take over the government. I'm heading there right now. I hadn't seen that. That's very cool. Excited to see that. I don't know. Something is happening in California. You see it in my race. You see it with Spencer in LA. We are done with it. And I think, I think the really big part of it is this fraud story that you've been such a big part of, Benny, because it's one thing to make all the political arguments that we make the whole time about, what's going wrong with this or that policy. But there's something that hits you in the gut about this fraud story, which is that people work so hard and they take so much of our money with their insane taxes that are the highest in the country. And then when you find out what they've been doing with our money, it just gets people so enraged. I really believe it's a big part of the revolution that we're going to see this year in California.
So can you talk to me about a governorship that actually counts votes on election night? That's the thing that has taken over my timeline. People are enraged. And they're just saying, why would you take a state that leads in so many other technological and scientific sectors, that is advancing AI and space travel and compute and in medicine, and we live in the most sophisticated and marvelous and wonderful time, and you count your votes like lobotomized cavemen? Why? What's going on?
Because this is what happens when you have a party that's in power for so long. There's no accountability. No one pushes back on them. It's just one party rule. So they feel they can get away with insane things and no one challenges it. So you had the Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, who's in charge of our elections in California, 2 days ago going out on the media and bragging about how long it was going to take and how, we have to be patient and it could take weeks. What? What are you talking about? I mean, you just compare it with Florida or the other states, all of whom, by the way, have early voting. So there's nothing to do with that. But you get results on election night, like normal places. You had even Nate Silver, I noticed, commenting that this is, his quote, I think, was, "This is failed state stuff." And that's exactly right. And it's exactly what you expect from people who've delivered high-speed rail $200 billion over budget, 30 years late. I mean, this is just another monument to their uselessness.
And Steve, if for some horrific reason, I know that you are very sunny side of the street. This is just the way that God made you. You couldn't run in this race if you didn't have a chip on your shoulder and a stiff upper lip and the ability to see what could be in California. But let's say that they are planning on stealing this from you. Will you sue? I mean, what will be your action if suddenly there are ballot dumps that go 100% for Xavier or for Tom?
No, we're going to be all over it. We're not going to let them do that. The state wants change. And actually, so far, we're not seeing any signs of that. It is true that you get these late deliveries of ballots because we got this unbelievable rule that the ballots can arrive 7 days after Election Day and still be counted. By the way, the Supreme Court is considering their case that's going to make that illegal. And we're very confident that by November, that insanity of voting 7 days after Election Day effectively will be ruled illegal nationwide. So that's one of the reasons. And so we're definitely keeping an eye on it. But right now, our sense is that, even if you do get that kind of effect, it's not going to be enough to kick us out of the top 2 slots. And so we're feeling very confident about that right now.
You're heading to you're heading to Sacramento today.
Yes.
I just want a vision cast here. What do you have planned when you get to Sacramento with the governor's pen? What are the first day agenda items? Let's galvanize the base one more time, because now comes the push into November, right? What will happen when Steve Hilton is in that chair?
Well, the first executive order, I actually published it the other day, and it's going to be to set up a taxpayer fraud strike force, which is a powerful team to immediately investigate and prosecute what we estimate is $425 billion worth of fraud, waste and abuse over the past 5 years, including criminal negligence, if warranted, on the part of Gavin Newsom, Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, and any other official. Because remember, they were told about the fraud year after year by state agencies in California. For example, the state auditor reporting on $24 billion of homelessness fraud for years. And Newsom and Bonta and these people did nothing about it. So we're going to be making sure that on day one, we get that going. We're going to have accountability, including criminal accountability, if the evidence shows it. We're going to start by investigating and gathering that evidence. But the real point, of course, on top of that, is to make sure we start doing the things that people desperately need. Cut your costs, help your business, fix our schools. It's a combination of the budget that I sent to the legislature, including my tax plans. For example, your first $100,000 tax-free, implementing no tax on tips in state taxes, which has happened in most other states, but not California. Capping vehicle registration, which they used to completely gouge us. For many Californians, it's up hundreds of dollars a year, even over 1,000, where in most states it's under 100. Very simple, practical things to cut people's costs and reduce the bloat and bureaucracy in our government.
I just want to say a final thank you on behalf of our audience, Steve, for ending the careers of Eric Swalwell, who got less than 0.04% of the vote last night. Those are probably mail-in ballots that were already mailed before he dropped out of the race. And Katie Porter, who now can throw hot potatoes in peace at whatever bald head she's looking at the current moment. Katie Porter getting less than 5% of the vote last night.
Yeah,
she's effectively done.
I don't think there'll be much peace in her household. I don't know. We want to be within throwing distance this morning when you see those numbers.
Godspeed, Steve. Everybody follow Steve Hilton. Obviously, here's his social media. He's the man on a mission, the absolute total all-out winner last night with the total vote percentage right now with 64% recording and reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Steve Hilton. Godspeed, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you.
I really appreciate it. I'm so happy we could speak this morning. As I said, you were there at the beginning, and it's wonderful to be with you today. Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you, Steve. Thank you. See you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have on deck Billy Bush. One moment, I'm very excited. I don't think Billy's ever been on the program, so I'm thrilled about that. I'm sure our Rumble audience is thrilled about that. If you're watching on Rumble, Rumble Wallet is a great way to store your crypto, a great way to tip the creators, your favorite creators. On screen right now is the QR code for Rumble Wallet. You can download it today. It's a custom personal link that will refer you directly to the Rumble Wallet app, where you can control your own money. It's technology that is completely reshaping and the way that we are able to fund free speech into the future and make sure that we are totally and completely untethered. So set up your Rumble wallet today. Make sure that you are locked in with your favorite creators. Scan the QR code right now and tap, and you'll be set. You'll be ready to go. Take control of your money. Everything from crypto to gold-backed currency to Tether tied to the dollar. You can get started with Rumble Wallet today. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Bush joining the show right now from Los Angeles. Let's go. Billy, what's going on, man? Nice to have you on the program.
Benny, long time, first time, or what do they say? Thank you for having me, my friend.
That's right. Long time listener, first time caller. That's right. Okay. So talk to me about you have beautiful LA, man. You must have a nice house. That's a great window. That's a great shot of the city behind you. That's beautiful.
Isn't that a great AI graphic? Do not widen this lens, Benny. You'll be very disappointed. It's like that commercial with Michael Che and Colin Jost. You know, we're live at the event, and then the janitor opens the closet, and they're sitting in front of the green screen. I'm in a funny little area in Van Nuys, which is sort of an industrial section of the San Fernando Valley, in a big warehouse with my own space in it, owned by Howie Mandel.
No way.
He's my landlord. He's my. I have to hand him a check every month.
You have such. We had Dean Cain on yesterday, and he said you have no idea how many celebrities and how many people in the movie industry and how many people that are connected to Hollywood are secretly voting for Spencer Pratt. Is that true, Billy?
I really, more than you would imagine. I mean, David Foster and Catherine McPhee had a fundraiser for Spencer. Doug Ellen, the creator of Entourage, is, risking his career by supporting someone other than the established entrenched candidate, which would be Karen Bass. I think I don't know if it's still considered bold or dangerous or risky to think for yourself. But it has to be a little, but maybe less now. I mean, I went to Spencer's party last night, the results party, which, by the way, I have to remind myself, like, we don't get results. Okay. It goes on for days, and we have to wait for, the ballots that have been, stamped and postmarked and, on time. And, who knows what happens in that time. But I wish it was where you could have a party and a speech and it would be over. But he did a good thing over at Don Antonio's on Pico Boulevard, which is a legendary Mexican restaurant. And Adam Carolla was there. Jenny McCarthy was there. And Val Chmerkovsky of Dancing with the Stars was there. And as I said to the media out front, Jimmy Kimmel was there. And they were like, wait, what? I said, I saw a guy in a mustache that looked a little like Jimmy. Wouldn't that be nice? But more importantly, when I went to the polls myself, I voted on vote. I like to go on election day. And I had more people come up to me and say, I'm voting for Spencer Pratt. And as we headed into this, he was 3 points behind Nithya Raman. Like it was 28 for, Karen or 30 for Karen and 25 for Nithya Raman, who's a councilwoman no one's ever heard of. 22% for Spencer. So he was in third place. But all these people were coming up to me like whispering, a guilty pleasure. And I said, yeah, I don't know. And by the way, I remember listening to Mark Halperin. I'm so disappointed, Mark. He used to be able to predict these things so well. Mark said he peaked. He's not going to be able to pull it off. He outperformed even more than I thought he would. And he's looking right now. They just did another update, Benny. I got 34.8%. According to NBC News, Benny, and you know they're never wrong. 34.8% for Karen Bass, 30.4. It's a 4.5 point difference. Spencer in second, and Nithya Raman back at 22.3. So with 63% of the expected vote in, looks like Spencer's heading to a runoff with Karen Bass in November. Boom.
You don't think there's going to be any funny business because it's enraging.
I don't know about that. I mean, you've there's all sorts. I don't want to sow. I really don't want to sow unnecessary. But this is unnecessary doubt in our election system. I don't. But it's Los Angeles. It's deeply entrenched. You've got, the unions are very strongly behind Karen Bass. That's a powerful group. Of course, different voting blocks that have always been there. There's always been this rumor of this one lady who holds, hundreds of thousands of ballots, and you have to go, and it's like an old mafia thing. You got to go, and both parties have to come, and she's actually not, a partisan person. She's mythical. I don't know if she exists, but she's in Inglewood, they say, and you go to her place, and you're like, here's what we got. Give us your big, harvest of ballots. I don't know. I would worry about it, but I think there's enough of a difference between Spencer and Nithya that if someone was going to rip this off, it would be risky and certainly noticed. So,
it'd be downright criminal. There doesn't seem to be any. Same thing with the governor's race. Nobody knows what a Xavier Baccaria is. Nobody knows what that is. Nobody's sure. Joe Biden doesn't know how to pronounce the guy's name.
Joe Biden doesn't know how to pronounce his own name. I mean, you got to give him a break on that. But we'll get into, if you want, the Joe Biden stuff is crazy. But here in LA, I mean, look, this is incredible that this morning it's even closer than when I left last night. I left it last night at about 6-7 points, and now it's 4.5. The difference between Spencer and Karen Bass.
What does a runoff look like for LA? Because this is the first time. This is the first time you've had an insurgent candidate like this, from completely the outside in LA in a very long time. What does it look?
30 years.
What does that runoff look like?
Richard Riordan was when the last time Los Angeles was in total disarray. Richard Riordan showed up on a white horse and galloped in and saved the city. And Karen's. Spencer's definitely very. 3 months ago, I didn't think he had a chance. I mean, this is what he has managed to do. I've known Spencer Pratt. Let's talk about the fact that I've known this guy forever. I used to be the intrepid reporter from Access Hollywood, the entertainment news world, internationally renowned Access Hollywood, and I had, Spencer Pratt from the moment he emerged. I was with him, not to mention Donald Trump, by the way. I was there for all of it. The guy was, he was definitely, a villain and a hack and a fun sort of, he loved manipulating the media. And I love the fact that now people are saying he can't evolve. Jimmy Kimmel, I like Jimmy. I think he's kind of funny sometimes. I know your audience can't stand the guy. I do think he does it creatively, but the fact that he evolved from the naughtiest little frat boy on the Man Show to a great liberal bastion of elitism on his late night show. Why can't Spencer Pratt become a 42-year-old grown-up male who loses his house, has kids, is furious to see the city he grew up in dilapidated all around him? Why is he not allowed to evolve and grow up and become the mayor of Los Angeles? In my America, he absolutely can.
Can we talk about Jimmy Kimmel really quickly? Because we were just filming outside of Jimmy Kimmel's studio a couple months ago, and I could not believe the state of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It was the filthiest, most disgusting, weed-smelling, piss-smelling, human defecation, people ODing right there on top of stars, right across from Jimmy Kimmel's show. It says Jimmy Kimmel, the Jimmy Kimmel Show on the old Masonic Lodge. And across the street is this like flea market tent city homeless encampment that nobody's clearing out. Nobody seems bothered by. It was filthy, Billy. You'd think if there's one person who would actually like really care about this, it would be the guy who has to do his show right in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, he goes in the back and hops out of the SUV. I don't think he's ever seen the front. But maybe we should send him a picture. No, I'd look. That's what Spencer ran on. I mean, that's really the heart of his message, which is, I love LA. LA is beautiful. We should not be in debt here. We should not have crap all over the streets. Tourism people want to come to Hollywood. Where is Hollywood? Where's production? Where's the movie business? Where's, people used to come to Hollywood Boulevard and ride in the tour buses and love, seeing the lore and hearing the stories. And it's a romantic city with, an amazing history and heritage. And now, it looks like shit, frankly, when you drive around. And Spencer Pratt is telling, he's appealing to moms, appealing to women in a major way. We're seeing what's going on, what your kids are seeing. That's that can stunt a child to see, meth heads on the street, fornicating or doing whatever they're doing, and encampments all over the place. It's scary. It makes him feel insecure. He's appealed very nicely to moms. He's a good communicator, Benny. He's communicated all of this crap that you're talking about to people very, very well. I said to the media last night, and there's Grum, I said, look, guys, next to Spencer's name, I know people want to claim him and call him, he's not really belongs to, I mean, you and I know he's at least center of right, but he's got the name community organizer next to him. And I said to the media, when's the last time a community organizer showed up to a large group of people and sold this idea of hope and change? Barack Obama. So there you go. And that's what he is, he's a community organizer, organizing his community because it's in disarray. And it all starts with, losing his home. And that pissed him off, and it got him on. He's a very good investigator. He started looking into stuff. And then one thing leads to the next. And we're living in a city that can't explain where $2.3 billion in homelessness funding went. No, not saying it was all stolen, just saying, can we have an accounting, please? He's pitching a system where we can see how much money's coming in, where is it going? How do we account for all of this? Let people see where their dollars are going. We have no excuse to be $1 billion in debt every year. This is beautiful LA. So
it is a beautiful city. It's the city of angels. It's gone to hell. We really hope that Spencer wins. I know that you have a heart out here, Billy, and so we'll let you do your we'll let you to your TV hit in your beautiful penthouse overlooking the city here. But maybe like a final quick. What is it?
I don't want to show you the encampment right here, but
or just real quick before you go, what's your over under? What are your odds in the November election?
I think. And this is, I think that Karen Bass is in a one-on-one with Spencer Pratt. I don't think she's going to be able to handle him. I think he has incredible energy. I think he has the ability to communicate. He's got grassroots people putting up these incredible videos and this momentum. People care about their city. And I don't think she's got an answer for it. She's trying to sell a record that doesn't exist. Homelessness is down 17.5%. I could get into the weeds with you on how they account for that. It's very creative. It's not true. Maybe it's down 1% after spending billions. The money doesn't match the results. But I think he's got too much ability to communicate, creativity, and hope and positive. He's a positive guy, and I don't think she can handle him. I think she's going to see, how do I respond to like many candidates in 2016 who didn't know how to respond to Trump. They just had never seen anything like this. It's a bit similar to that. Benny, before I go, I do want to say one thing. There's a very important race that happens 1 week from today, and that is in Maine, running for governor. My brother, my older brother, Jonathan Bush, is running for governor, and he's super close at the top for the Republican nomination. Go Johnny B. I can't imagine a smarter guy. He founded Athena Healthcare, Benny, which is one of the biggest healthcare companies in this world. He's put 1,000 jobs in Maine. He's a smart guy. And there you go. I had to get the pitch in for my bro.
Well, there it is. And Kara's on and watching, and she's the booker. And so let's get him on the show. I'd love to chat with him.
Bush on the show, Benny. I promise you'll never meet a smarter guy, quicker, more intelligent, more with a deep plan. So
we love Maine and the Kenny Bunkport and all. I mean, obviously, like that's one. It's one of the this side of California. I'd argue is one of the most naturally gifted, beautiful states actually in the entire country. And
the Hot Mics podcast that I do every day will be done from Maine for 2 months. I will go shortly and go up to for salvation, baby, for quality of life and beautiful Maine. Cannot wait.
My man, can't imagine a more different landscape going from Van Nuys to Maine. Good for you, dude.
Benny. Well, I mean, there's certain areas of Maine that need uplifting. But,
That's
I'm
right.
going out in the middle of the ocean.
My man. God bless you. Thank you so much. Godspeed, Billy. Follow Billy right here on social media. You have his account up and his podcast up. And thank you for your insights today, man.
Thanks, Benny. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I hear some reports about audio popping there. Every single time. Yeah, every single time. We're just gonna work. We're working. It's a live show, and everybody has a different setup, and so we're working on our end to try and limit that as much as possible. And sometimes there's no real good fix, but we'll have a call about that after the program. We have to have better clarity on confirmation, because it's really just when you hear something like that, when you hear the mic popping, it's just a plug that's not fully plugged in to a camera or a switchboard, and it's typically very easy, simple setting fixes. And so we're just gonna have to. It's not our setup, it's Billy's setup, and it sounds like he's just getting settled in the studio, and we understand what that's like. But anyway, thank you, chat, for sticking with us on that. Speaking of, where is the chat? Hold on. Thank you. There you go. Goodness. I want to have the chat up on screen. We just keep the chat up on screen when we're doing interviews. We got to do that. We're just going to keep the chat up on screen. We love the chat. We thank you for being here. We're so thrilled to have brought you Steve Hilton live, and we're just going to keep the chat up on screen. I'm making that ruling now from now on. And then the chat can tell us what's up with the audio. We check people in. We try and do tests with them, but sometimes there's no way to tell, and you just go live and everything goes the way that it does. Thank you again for rolling with us. Roll with Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold can make sure that you are locked in and diversified into precious metals. Gold has been on a generational tear. Gold is becoming, once again, the default holding for nations and billionaires alike. Make sure that you lock on in with your 401k or IRA. Look at your allocation. You're entitled to it. Is it just all paper? If it's all paper, then you should switch over to gold today. The dollar has lost nearly 20% of its purchasing powers in just a couple of years. That's because the vast majority of dollars were printed over the last couple of years. It's horrific. It's bad for your retirement. It's bad for your future. I trust Advantage Gold. It's America's top-rated precious metals company. Right now, they're giving my listeners a free gold investment kit. Text Benny to 85545. That's BENNY to 85545 today. No cost, no obligation, and no pressure. Check your allocation and take control of your future with Advantage Gold. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Alex on. Yeah, okay, good. Oh, that's wonderful. Some people are commenting that there were no audio issues as they were watching. Thank you very much, Molly Austin from Facebook, for commenting on that. And again, we apologize. We try. It's our best. The audio is fine. No swearing. I apologize. Somebody swore in a tweet, and I read the tweet. I can do better. My apologies. We try not to swear on the show. It is an adult show, but we try not. It's also family friendly. You should be able to watch the show in front of your kids. So I don't want to curse in front of my kids. And so, yeah, I was reading a tweet. We'll be as good as we possibly can be on that. We bleep when we can, and we rock and we roll. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're rocking with Alex Marlow. I'm just checking in, guys. Alex Marlow, ready to go? From Breitbart News, somebody who started Breitbart with Andrew Breitbart in Los Angeles. He's from Los Angeles. Alex Marlow is a bit of a legend in the space, as was his mentor, Andrew Breitbart, who would be loving this Spencer Pratt race right now. Let's bring in Alex Marlow to chat about it. Here we go. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Benny. Thanks for the great intro, and thanks for shouting out Andrew. And I totally agree with you. He would be having an absolute blast.
He would be. I mean, this is absolute insurgency, rebellion, and a beautiful story. So the people of Hollywood understand the power of a narrative arc and a hero's arc and an origin story. Isn't this like the perfect origin story for Spencer Pratt?
I mean, I love it. He's using the media in such an effective way. You know this. You're a super expert in messaging, and this is where he was born for this. He says this. He's not joking about it. If you look into how he started The Hills, and The Hills was his idea, which is a legendary reality show, this is not just pre-Instagram. This is pre-Twitter. And he's coming up with a way for him and his friends to get paid to go out to eat. And he does this because he knew David Foster, who's a legendary producer you've all heard 1,000 of his songs. And he was good friends with Brody Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner's son, who's super handsome model, charismatic guy. And he says, I got this cool friend group. Can we follow them around with a camera and turn that into a TV show? And it didn't start a TV show. It started a whole revolution, a whole phenomenon. Spencer Pratt's a super bright human being who understands the media landscape. And that's why on a shoestring budget with no organization, he's been able to give people in LA hope for 5 minutes.
What does hope look like when it comes to the next 100,000, well, actually 290,000 to be exact, ballots that need to come in? Do you believe, and this is our main concern, that over the next couple of weeks, they're going to be ripping suitcases out from under tables? Water pipes are going to burst, Alex. You know what I mean?
And they will. And that's why I want to have a celebratory day, because the numbers look good. But overall, this is the thing we have in the state, which is completely insane and completely absurd. But any ballot that is marked in the mail by Election Day gets counted. So you can get them 7 days late. And the canvassers are only allowed, you have up to 30 days to count the ballots. So, Benny, conceivably, we're not going to have a clear answer for 30 days. I like
July,
this, though. Yes.
July. We have to wait till July.
Conceivably, yes. But the good news is that the margin between Pratt and Rahman had me feeling pretty good. I had it marked as 7% was the most they could cheat, and he's up 8 as of now. So not impossible, but this would be historic levels of cheating if they could. And it is cheating. That's what it is. They cheat. That's what they do. That's the whole point of why this is like this, is to ensure the Democrats win. The Democrats hate democracy. They don't want a democratic election because that makes them vulnerable, because people who are established politicians lose. Consider this, that Karen Bass, who is the incumbent mayor, incumbents never get under 50% in LA, is under 35% with 63% reporting. And then you've got a guy who is not only reality TV star, was a gem salesman. Spencer Pratt made most of his money selling gemstones, and now he's here at 30%. Could be the beginning of a revolution. It really could be. Now, it's a long road to hoe. I'll give you the bad news. The bad news is still voter registration gap in LA is overwhelmingly favors Democrats. The unions run this town, and they're completely behind Bass. And all of these 3rd, 4th, 5th place people are all left-wing people. So as far as we know, only 30% of people pulled the trigger for a Republican yesterday, and that's not going to be enough come November. But it is enough to give us hope, give us some excitement, and give us a path to at least talk about key issues that we need to in the city that has been completely destroyed from 2 decades of Democrat rule.
I just don't know if you're going to be able to convert, though, the hardcore leftists that hate the Democratic Party like in a different way, but maybe as much as you and I might.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm not sure that those people are going to convert for Karen Bass. They might not vote. They might write in Nikki Rahman. They might write in, Bernie Sanders, but they're going to show up and vote for Tom Steyer. I don't think they'll go and like vote for Karen Bass. They hate her, right? And they hate Maxine Waters, and they hate these people like for a different reason, but still, I don't think it's going to convert into, I don't think it's like a 1-to-1.
No.
Where like Chad Bianco voters will probably vote for Steve Hilton. I don't think it's going to translate. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, and this is where you're charting a path. So, and Spencer Pratt's message discipline has been beyond belief. He's a consultant's dream because all he's talking about is homelessness, drugs, crime, and the city burned down. He's not talking about MAGA stuff. Benny, I'm OG MAGA. I was there on day one. I was there before the escalator. I'm a MAGA guy through and through. But if you're going to win this city, which is all liberal Democrats, he has to get liberal Democrats to come out and vote for him. It can't just be Republicans. He's got to stay on. I'm just going to put the bad guys in jail. I'm going to get the bums off the street, and then I'm going to get the drugs out of the parks. Like, that's all I'm going to do. If he keeps saying that, then some of these people who are conscientious objectors to Karen Bass, even though they might be registered Democrats, he might be able to pull enough of them off. And so that's the thing, is that I'm afraid all these Democrat voters who didn't vote for Bass are going to just end up defaulting to Bass because she's a Democrat. That's the worst case scenario. But the best case scenario, they'll never vote for her again because she was in charge and in Ghana when the city burned down.
Yes. So you're saying that it could you're saying there's a chance.
That's it. It's just a chance. And look, it's if I'm putting money in the prediction market, I'm not betting big, but I'll tell you at a minimum, we're going to get 5 months of very meaningful conversation. And again, all we can ask for is a chance. This is LA, Benny, after all. I mean, people have written off. This is one of the things that frustrates me so much. Breitbart started out of LA, PragerU, Daily Wire, so many of your favorite outposts in conservative media started in LA. This is where a lot of conservative thought incubates. And so much of the country, so much of the conservative movement completely wrote us off, which is why I'm happy you're having an upbeat conversation about this today, because look, we know the truth. We know it's very hard and LA is probably not salvageable. But when you get high quality people, like Steve Hilton is the best character. He's a high character person. Javier Becerra is a machine politician. Tom Steyer is a freak. He's a guy who made money in hedge funds trying to buy elections and thinks the number one priority needs to be more men beating women in sports. We should not embrace that ever. We should make no excuses. We have to fight that through and through the very end.
Yeah, I do find it kind of fascinating that I think that California has been insulated from the gas prices conversation. Yeah. Because people are so used to paying $7 gas. I was out there a year ago and it was $7 gas. A year ago.
Always.
So it's like it's very peculiar incubator because they've so completely screwed themselves with this gas. That would be probably one of the biggest arguments right now is affordability. Well, things haven't been affordable in California for 3 decades.
Yeah, exactly. We've had $7 gas and it's always been, it is what it is out here. That's what we say. So if we have gas because Trump all of a sudden decided to invade Iran, it's not a super strong argument. But what is interesting is that the same problems that we've had for the entire time. Look, I just turned 40. I've been in LA 32 of those years, and I've been in California 32 of those years. I went to college in the Bay Area. Worst traffic in the world, worst airports in the world, homelessness, illegal aliens ruin the school system and the healthcare system. There's graffiti, the reservoirs are empty, the crackheads run the beaches. All this has never changed. It's the same problems. It's why everyone makes fun of us. Maybe this is the year where people say, you know what? The status quo is just not acceptable anymore.
So zooming out to the governor's race, we had Steve Hilton on. What do you think, man? I mean, he's super upbeat about it. He's winning in the absolute vote right now, in the total vote. And I think Democrats are in a really tough position. Like, what are they gonna, what are you gonna do here? You have these guys, like none of them are electric. All of them are broken vessels, frankly. I mean, Tom Steyer's like, nobody gets behind Tom Steyer. Joe Biden doesn't know the name of Xavier Baccaria. What do you think that there's enough? Do you think there's enough machine votes? Do you think there's enough machine votes?
Great callback. I had forgotten that one. And I had forgotten the Javier Baccaria. That's right. That's who he is. He was the worst of Biden's horrible cabinet secretaries, which is really saying something. So this is what's interesting I've been very negative since I was in college, Republicans over 2 decades ago, about the state party in California, completely incompetent group of people. Yeah. And Steve Hilton is upbeat enough and high energy enough where I feel like he's going to be able to mount a pretty serious charge. But what you identified is the Democrats are truly horrible. I mean, these are all retards who are in their race. The only person who might not be a retard is Katie Porter, who is the least likable human being on earth. Not just politician, just human being. The person you'd least like to get a beer with on the planet is Katie Porter. And definitely the least likely person you would want to get a bowl of mashed potatoes with, because you probably dump them on your head.
Smash it. Yeah, yes, right. Yes, like a scene out of The Departed. Just bam.
That's about what happened. So what's fun about the race, of course, Steve Hilton, wonderful guy, and great. And I do think that he'll convert the Bianco voter. So I think he's going to pick up, 10, 11 points right away. And can the Democrats blow it with the fact that they have a really dumb person, probably the top of the ticket in Becerra? But again, remember, Benny, they're going to count votes for a month here too. So it doesn't mean it's locked in. They could still steal it. But if they don't steal it in a month, and if it's Becerra versus Hilton, we're going against a massive state party machine. This is a machine state. That explains the rise of Newsom, who's no record, Kamala Harris, who's no brain. All these people came from the Democrat machine in California, which is very, very powerful and very strong. And we have no machine on the right, nothing. We have nothing working for us. So it's going to take a semi-miracle, but at least it gets the important conversations on the table if a Republican's there. And perhaps because of the Democrat incompetence and how horrible their brand is so bad with young people too, Benny. We don't really know where this is going to go. And that's the best case scenario for California.
That's why Breitbart would love this, is because the machine is the internet. The machine is the people. The machine has been the AI ads for Spencer Pratt.
That's right.
The machine has been the memes. That they've been able to break the machine. We've been able to break the machine in an insurgency and in a revolutionary capacity in California. It's like awesome. And that's what's so exciting about all of it, I guess. And what's so exciting. What's so dangerous for what you just mentioned? What's so dangerous for Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom, who are the number 1 and number 2 prediction market, 2028 front runners, and it's hard to really see, and a lot can happen, but it's hard to really see any other Democrat challenging them, is what happens if they lose their base of support. Like, what happens if California inexplicably flips red in one city or the state? This is devastating to the already broken legacies of these two.
Yeah, I think that the Democrat brand is so ruined with younger people. I'm not saying the Republicans have been able to thread the needle to be able to appeal to them, but these are gettable people. These are people who are very bummed out about the cultural contagion of a lot of online cultures, with the trans stuff, with the constant woke stuff, with the social media addiction. I think a lot of this stuff has left people, I think, rethinking some of this perception that the Democrats have a monopoly on the culture and they have monopoly on what is really sort of normalcy. That was how it was sold, particularly when I was growing up in LA, is that just Republican bad, Democrat good. I think that's being really rejected. Now, I don't think necessarily Republicans have seized the opportunity. They haven't seized the moment. I know you've been trying as hard as anyone, Benny, to try to do that, try to step into the breach. A few people, Charlie Kirk, of course, comes to mind, who tried to do that. These people are gettable. There's younger people out there who can be reached with the correct messenger. And that's where you see people like Steve Hilton, sort of an outside the box messenger. And of course, Spencer Pratt. These are the exact type of vessels we need to be trying out right now as a movement.
Spencer Pratt, man. I mean, it is remarkable. So Billy Bush on is like, he reminds me of Obama and Trump. It's like, you're right, actually. Community organizer plus reality TV star plus like very magnetic, and the cameras just love the guy. And I don't know how, he's just so good. He's so good in these answers. Like, he's just such a natural. And I've hung out with the guy in his burned down home, and I saw it early on. I was like, man, if this guy, if the internet got behind this guy, then he would crush, because Karen Bass is so dumb. I mean, she's really, truly a caveman. She's really
and
stupid.
she's got a media sensibility, which is very effective, because she looks like your lovable grandma. And the fact that she's a DEI person is obviously, that plays well in a city that's incredibly diverse. And it plays well with Democrats. Reminds people, it definitely gives her a leg up. I'm just being real about that. It's just a fact. And so she actually has her own way of manipulating the media, because she's always smiling. She's always trying to reassure you, even though nothing is going well. Nothing.
Like the Joker.
Yeah, it's totally. So, but the reason why I started the conversation with the start of the Hills, Benny, which is what I think is so interesting, is that he's always been a savant in media. He's always understood this. And if he can translate the media energy to actual voters in LA, that's what remains to be seen. He did very well yesterday, but he's got to step up somehow. He's got to find another level if he actually wants to win. But we're hopeful. And that's the best case scenario in LA right now, is just merely some hope from a guy who can talk about issues in a way that introduces them to new people. Let me shout out Billy Bush. Billy Bush had this interview with Doug Ellen, who ran the show Entourage, which is the biggest love letter to LA this century, and a total male fantasy, and was a total blast. And I was in high school and college when it was out in LA, and it was just, it was perfect for just what it was. Perfect piece of art. He was talking to Billy Bush, and he was talking about how he's been on the sidelines politically his whole life. He's off the sidelines now. He's voting for Pratt. And getting those type of people who really have sway in the culture to come out. Now, granted, he is a rich guy, though. And a lot of rich guys, they could stay. A lot of people who are not rich had to leave because too expensive. And I'm worried about that, too. But again, hope. That's the word of the day.
Hope. All right. Let's take that word. Let's reappropriate that word, right? They took it from us 20 years ago, and we can take it back. Let's make the hope poster. Spencer Pratt, that's the word, from the man who carries forward the legacy of Andrew Breitbart, who would it's just smiling down from heaven, watching this happen in LA. Very missed right now, Charlie and Andrew. And I guess it's our poor attempts at carrying forward that legacy. We're going to keep fighting. Thank you, Andrew, for doing that. Everybody follow Andrew. Everybody follow Alex Marlowe right here. Yeah. And that's right. It's a compliment.
It's my number one thing. I get called Andrew probably once a day, and I've always been cool with it.
What a compliment, honestly. Yeah. I guess someone could say Benny or Billy Bush. I'm not sure if that would be a good confusion or a bad confusion. But apparently we're going to have a Bush family member who's running for governor in Maine back on the show. That would be our first Bush family member, who's running for office on the show. So look at us, right? Broadening our horizons.
Look at that. It's a huge tent, capital Y.
Look at us. Look, you and me. Look at us. Look at us. We can do the meme. Thank you, Alex. God bless you, man. Godspeed.
Thanks, Benny. This is fun. See you later.
See ya. Ooh, baby. That's right. That's right. If you need something new in your life, perhaps you need somebody to test your mics like Billy Bush had. Right. Actually, some commenters saying that they didn't hear the clipping that we heard. So awesome. That's great. We're really happy about it. And we're thrilled, frankly, about the future of Los Angeles and LA and where it's heading. They do need new people. If you need new people, if you need a new business, if you want to start a new business in a new state, maybe you've fled California. Maybe California will swing red and you might want to move in because Steve Hilton promises $3 gas. Well, Shopify, ladies and gentlemen. Shopify can start your new business today. You could pick up and go anywhere. If you have a great idea rattling around in your noggin, as we often do, Shopify is the turnkey solution to get your business up and started. You could do it from anywhere. So I guess you could be in California if you choose. I choose to start my business, which uses Shopify, in Florida, which can count all their millions of votes in a single night. Ladies and gentlemen, Shopify is a spectacular way to ensure that you get a smooth operation, getting your dreams started online. You can get their design studios to help you use templates to build out a beautiful online store that's critical, accelerate your efficiency when you're uploading new products, and get the word out with the marketing team behind you. The best thing about Shopify, well, is how simple it is to use. You want people to be able to one click, one buy. You want people to be able to check out quickly. You want things to be safe, secure, and ready to rock. And that is exactly what Shopify does for us at our business. They can do it for yours. See, less carts go abandoned and more sales go. Oh, you're good, Klein. You're close there, Klein. Everyone needs to send Klein some blackout coffee this morning. We're close. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, honestly, I got to tell you, it's the soundboards, man. the soundboards. Go to shopify.com/Benny. That's shopify.com/Benny for your... No. All right. Well, whatever. You know what? Some days, ladies and gentlemen, you just got to take the L and you just got to keep rocking. Man, Donald Trump saying that he did call Netanyahu effing crazy. Whoa. They work well together, but he talked about the absolute crash out that he had on Benjamin Netanyahu. He was perturbed about the constantly fighting in Lebanon. President Trump confirming in Axios report earlier that he snapped on Bibi. Let's go ahead and watch the clip. This is from the Pod Force One podcast with the New York Post, Miranda Devine, one of our friends, making news. Here we go.
Angry with him. You said, "Are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing? I helped you stay out of jail." Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I wouldn't say angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. You know, at some point I said, "Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it." But I have a very good relationship. We've done well together. He always says, we could never have done it, but everybody knows that we could have never done it without the United States. But I've worked very well together. I like Bibi a lot, and I've worked very well with him. We had I'm a wartime president. He's a wartime prime minister, very important part of the world. And I think we've done, very well. We've gotten along very well together.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what's going to be our prayer for today as we move on to the verse of the day. Our prayer is going to be for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. They'll be called the children of God. We need peace right now. I want this war to be over. I want it to end. I would like for there to be peace with Iran. There was more bombings. I guess Iran bombed a airport in Kuwait, blew it all up. A bit of a nightmare. We want it to be over. We don't want to crash out or lose our minds over it. We just want to be aggressive in calling for the best for our nation and for everybody's country, quite frankly. And so that's what we've tried to do in good faith, respectfully, strongly on this program, and to, continue the fight. And that's what we're going to do, continuing the fight. 2 quick market updates about who will advance to the second round. I don't like what happened last night where the markets said Bass and Rahman, that Spencer Pratt would not be advancing. The markets nearly flipped last night. It's very, very good that they didn't. And now it's back up to what looks like, here we go, 64%. Okay, great. There's like a bit of a bounce where it looked like Spencer Pratt was going to be crashing down. That's been normalizing, thank goodness. And then we have who will advance in the California governor's primary, Steve Hilton and Xavier Becerra at 98% and 83% respectively. Very good numbers there. Want to stay locked in, ladies and gentlemen. Keep our eyes on California. Fight. That is where the future of the country will be fought. The battles will be on the streets of LA. So let us go into battle with our verse of the day from Romans 8:37. But in all these things, we overwhelmingly conquer through him who loved us. Remember, we are conquerors here on earth and in the spirit, have an air of victory and not defeat, no matter what happens. A reminder that when all felt lost after 2020, we started the show and we built. And instead of crashing out or retreating or licking our wounds or leaving the space, we fought 10 times harder. We went 50 times harder. That's the spirit of a conqueror. That's the spirit of the West. That's the spirit of victory. March on to victory with us. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.